29 of Geeks to the Round Table. My name is Ren Geekness, and as per a last-minute change, Zach was feeling a bit under the weather. He couldn't sleep last night, so we gave him the day off. I say day off as if we were paying him for this, which we are not. I'm not getting paid for this, but neither is Patrick, who is happily joining me all the way from down under. Good friend of the show. He's managed to be here many times before. He's covered for Zach. He's covered for myself. He has taken the show on his own stride. He's done a solo show before. Patrick, how are you?
I am doing very, very well. It's always a pleasure to be here, whether it's short notice, long notice. I'm just happy to be here whenever and wherever I can. So thank you so much for having me, even if it is being paid in, savory rations. By that, I mean nothing at all.
And then they take a long time to get from London to Australia, which is another problem in and of itself.
Then by the time they get here, they're moldy and unedible.
Past the expiry date. Patrick has complained a ton of times about this, and I can't do anything about it. It's not my department.
It's fine though.
But it's always a pleasure to have you here, and it's always a pleasure to have you guys here watching us live or listening to us on Spotify or wherever you find your podcast, whether you're joining you on your commute, on a jog, as you're crushing it, lifting iron at the gym. Thank you for joining us on this 39th edition of This Week in Geek. And in case you don't know how the show works, basically we have 3 segments. The first one is rather quick, where me and Patrick go over the weekly ranking. That's when we rank everything we watched this past week from worst to best, and then we highlight a little bit of your weekly rankings as you leave them in the live chat. After that, we go into our main topic, which is the topic you see on the thumbnail. It's the topic you see on the title of this video. So we're going to be discuss many interesting reveals from this past week regarding the upcoming announcements for the DCU as per James Gunn. And then we have the most fun part of the show, the last part of the show, which is taking your questions. And there's 3 ways of leaving your questions. You can, 1, leave them on the community tab, and we'll do our best to get to it before the time for the show runs out, or you can actively support the channel through the tip link or super chat features, and in that way we guarantee your questions will be answered. Without wasting any more of your time, any more of Patrick's time, because it's very late in Australia. He's talking to us from the future because it's already the 15th of January over there. Yes. Let's get to it. And I don't want to say that I didn't watch a lot this week. Also, before I get started, guys, new camera. I have a new camera. I got my Sony a7 IV running. I got it to work on the podcast. I did my first review with it this past week with the Megan review. Go check that out if you haven't. And I'm still working on some kinks because I don't think my camera is recognizing my microphone for recorder reviews. But as for this one, it's all the same, except we now have better image quality. I'm very happy with this camera. So, like I was saying, I don't want to say that I didn't watch too much this week because I watched the regular amount, I would say, but a lot of it were TV shows. I started getting caught up on Severance. I'm binging through that. I started a show on Paramount Plus called The Flat Share. I've only seen 1 episode. It's quirky, it's charming, it's a British show, so it's got all those sensibilities that I like. And I watched, I guess, Digimon Ghost Game for anyone out there who might still be watching it. It's finally picking up over 60 episodes after, and it's finally happening. Something is happening in that show. That's a whole nother conversation. In terms of movies, I honestly did not watch too much. Oh, I did start Kaleidoscope as well, so there's that. But as per movies, there's only 2 to be ranked. There would be more if we didn't have a show last week, but we did. So as per this week, I'm only going to be ranking 2 movies, and they're both good. I did not watch a single bad movie this week, which is a really good thing. And so in second place, in last place, comes Megan, the brand new Blumhouse horror movie. And I pretty much said everything I wanted to say in the review. This is not a movie I went in very excited, because it could either work really fucking well or really fucking badly. And it worked out in a really fun way that embraced its campy nature, and it was unashamed and unafraid of being what it was, and it celebrated that all throughout with this tinge of sinistry in regards to Megan. It was really fun. All the Megans came out to the press screening to dance in front of us before the actual movie. It's just a ton of fun, to the point that I'm going to be watching it again later today, because I couldn't take anyone with me to the screening. It was a hot ticket, as they usually say when they can't get you a +1. So Megan, fun time. Go watch it. As someone who did not care for Malignant, I was really afraid of this one. This is a ton of fun. And in first place, this was my third time watching it, Damien Chazelle's Babylon. I cannot tell you how important this film is to me. I cannot tell you how much I love it. And it only gets better with rewatches. It only gets better as I sit on it. And it just speaks to my sensibilities, to why I love films, why I love watching them, why I love making them, why I love telling these stories. And I don't know if I ever talked to you, Patrick, about this, but Zach the other day asked me like Nolan or Chazelle for my favorite director. And I will say Nolan is perhaps my favorite director. Like if he has a movie coming out, yeah, I don't need to know anything else. It's Chris Nolan. And he is a name for a general audience. He's cracked that glass ceiling and he's on that echelon. When it comes to Damien Chazelle, though, personally, obviously, he has a movie coming out. I don't care about anything else. I'll go watch it. But while Nolan may make my favorite movies to watch, to experience, Damien Chazelle makes the movies I would love to make. And so if that makes any sense, they're in these different podiums, but equally leveled, I will say. So Babylon comes in at number one, and it'll probably come in at number one 9 times out of 10 that I would watch it in a week. So that's my weekly ranking for you guys. Patrick, what do you got? What did you watch this week?
I watched a few TV shows as well. 2 TV shows. One of them was a rewatch. One of them was actually a first-time viewing. I only watched 1 episode of it, but it was a brilliant start. But I'm not going to lie, my first one on my list is an absolute stinker. At number 6, I have Silent Hill Revelations 3D. I am a massive fan of the Silent Hill video games, and I'm currently revisiting with the change in my channel, but also I want to replay all of the old Silent Hill games leading up to the Silent Hill 2 remake coming out later this year, which I am so excited for. Konami is back. I'm glad that it's happening. But Silent Hill 3 Revelation, though, I watched because my buddy had never seen the Silent Hill movies, and I actually really enjoy the first Silent Hill movie. I think it's a great adaptation of the game, but not necessarily a great movie. We binge watched both of these movies back to back, and it made me remember how much of a stinker Silent Hill Revelations 3D is, not just from an adaptation standpoint, but also as a movie itself. Like, this movie was 99 cents on Prime to rent for a good fucking reason.
Only it's too expensive.
Yes, it still feels like I wasted my time. Like, from everything from the detective at the beginning of the movie to the reason why her name's now Heather Mason makes absolutely no sense. Whereas in the game, if you've played the games from the first and third game, because the third game, which this movie is adapting, is a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1, the video game, that all made sense and elevated what was otherwise a great game, but a very bland, mediocre story with Silent Hill 1. Silent Hill Revelations, on the other hand, completely just diminishes what was a good adaptation, but not necessarily a great movie, to be a dog shit movie that was also a very poor adaptation. I feel really bad for the main actress of the movie because she is talented. I've seen her in other things, and she's also an Aussie actress. Sean Bean just doesn't look like he wants. Sean Bean just doesn't look like he wants to fucking be there. It looks like he's contractually obligated, which, if you know the story behind how the first movie was even made, very accurate. VFX, the narrative, the pacing, it's all over the place. And half of the time to Kit Harington, I just wanted to reach through the screen, strangle him, and be like, "You know nothing, Jon Snow," because he had no idea what he was doing the entire time.
Poor guy. He was trying to branch out. In case Game of Thrones got canceled.
Exactly. At number 5, a movie that I wasn't excited for. Then I saw the reviews. I'm like, okay, maybe this will be good. And then I didn't like it. Megan. I really did not like Megan, which is really disappointing because I saw the trailer and was like, no, not for me. Saw the reception. I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. Maybe it's not what I expected. I went in, watched it, and at first I thought it was just okay. I thought it was a movie that had a lot of really cool ideas and a lot of cool commentaries as a very self-aware horror film that I appreciated but didn't quite fall through. I felt like the script was very loose while very campy and fun, which I appreciated. I felt that tonally it was all over the place. Like, did it want to be a straight up horror movie? Did it want to be a straight up dark comedy? Did it want to be a straight up comedy or a big AI intelligence commentary? It never felt like it wanted to be one thing. And not only that, the pacing suffered because of that as well. I found the first 30 to 45 minutes blatantly boring. And then when it finally introduced Megan, well, I say that like it felt like 30 to 45 minutes, which it actually wasn't. I was actually checking my watch, believe it or not, which is the worst thing I could say about a horror movie.
But it was probably like 20.
It was like
20, close to 30. Yeah, something like that until Megan gets introduced. I get you.
But then when she's introduced, I'm like, this is cool. But then all of a sudden it rushes her first ever like creepy encounter. I wanted more of that time and more of her becoming unhinged. And it's definitely a movie that feels like, doesn't necessarily mean it was, but feels like it was filmed to be a much more gruesome
And it was.
Yeah, because there's a more violent
There's an R-rated cut, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, even though I like the movie, that's exactly what I felt. That I didn't think it was ruined because I overall liked the movie, but it was hindered. And the campiness, the silliness, the over-the-top sensibilities of it, and that juxtaposition of creepiness and sinistry would have been even better if they had gone to these extremes in violence as they go into extremes of comedy.
And there are so many hints at that with the water pressure. I'm not going to say what it was, but the water pressure
just stops.
It just stops, and I'm like, just showing a puddle is not enough. The elevator scene, I'm like, that's a cool reveal, but it would have been I think, a little bit more impactful to be like, Megan is fucking unhinged if it showed.
Yeah.
And I don't usually like the showing the gore without reason, but I felt Megan would have improved on this, especially when I found a large majority of the movie to be very annoying. I forget what her name is, but she was in Get Out as well. I thought she was great in it. I think the
Alison
young girl
Williams,
yeah, they're both very good in it. I think everyone in this movie is actually very good, especially the young actress who plays Megan. Having to act basically from a performative standpoint was fantastic, and mannerisms, but I just felt the movie is also very annoying, especially with its commentary being very forceful in a way. It's a cool concept, and I would like a sequel to maybe improve on a lot of the shortcomings for me personally in this first entry.
All right.
At number 4, I have Silent Hill. I think the first Silent Hill movie is good. As an adaptation, I think it stands. As a movie, I think it's a little bit blech going forward, but I think Christoph Gans does a really good job, especially if you know the process he went to get the rights to get this movie made. He was very passionate about it. I appreciate a lot of the nods in regards to certain camera angles from the game being completely recreated, especially due to the first Hell World sequence when Rose Da Silva, who is a character name change, when initially in the original game it was Harry Mason, who is actually Sean Bean's character in the sequel Silent Hill movie, which makes no sense. But I think they did a lot right, recreating certain sequences, certain creature designs from Masahiro Ito was brilliant. I think Akira Yamaoto's score being introduced into the movie to really feel like Silent Hill, beautiful, and his score is haunting, in my opinion. Seriously, did you know he used dentist drills to make certain music soundtracks in that movie?
That's
Little dentist drills, and it's horrifying, especially when you play that game, but I think it works really well in that movie as well. It makes me excited rewatching that for Christoph Gans to return to the world to Silent Hill for Return to Silent Hill coming out later this year, which is a direct adaptation of my favorite Silent Hill game, Silent Hill 2. So here's hoping. Here's hoping. Don't fuck it up.
And there's another movie being made, right?
Yeah, it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
It was announced last year when all the Silent Hill games were announced that are coming out. And from the artwork, the production, the storyboards and everything, and illustrations and concept art for the movie, all perfect, top notch, exactly like the movie. There are certain things though that are hinted at in the game that I'm worried they're going to over elaborate on. However, considering that that's the big issue with the Silent Hill movie, over elaborating in a story that wasn't that great to begin with in the game that it's adapting. So yeah, I'd rather not have witchcraft bullshit in my Silent Hill games, even though that's what the first game had. At number 3, Bungo Stray Dogs Season 1, Episode 1. I watched the first episode because Bungo Stray Dogs season 4 just started, if I'm not mistaken, and my mate's like, dude, you got to finally watch Bungo Stray Dogs. I've never seen it. He showed me that first episode, and without spoilers, I'm not
First
going to say
season
anything.
is so good.
But it's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I think it's all the characters so far are part of this organization of special people and everything are very likable. A main character, while doesn't have the scene-stealing persona about him, like, who's that? What's the character's name that's always trying to end himself for comedic reasons?
I forget because I watched it like when it was coming out, and then eventually I fell off in the second season. Not because I didn't like it, just life happened.
Yeah.
But I know exactly who you mean. I just don't remember the name, and
Well,
it's frustrating.
He's easily my favorite character in just the first episode. He's very funny about the reason why he wants to do it, but there also already seems to be a very personal reason as to why, and I like that. I like that. Yeah, Bungo Stray Dogs season 1 episode 1 is very strong. I can't wait to continue. It's very funny, very enjoyable, and I love the world that it's already started to build. At number 2, I went and saw Puss in Boots 2 for like the 4th time.
Nice.
Puss in Boots 2. I don't think it's better than Shrek 2, but I think it is better than every other Shrek movie. I think it's better than the other Puss in Boots movie. It's so much fun. It's so personal. They created, in my opinion, as everyone's been saying, the best DreamWorks animated villain to date. They did such a good job with that. So many sequences are just chilling with him. And the animation is used very well in regards to different stylistic changes during action to smaller character moments. The frame changes work very well. It feels like an anime. It really does. The way
it has that kind of energy.
It does, and I'm loving seeing the Shinzo Sasageo opening from Attack on Titan being sort of clipped into the scene where he's fighting the big giant in the city.
Yeah.
People being like, they made Attack on Titan for kids, and I'm like, Attack on Titan technically is for kids anyway, but not really.
Very traumatized kids.
Yeah, fuck. But I think Puss in Boots 2, if I did actually do a ranking of movies last year, it probably would have easily been in my top 3 movies of 2022. It was such a good fucking film. Yeah, I love Puss in Boots 2. But at number 1, Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 is just pure perfection. The best way they could have ended the series. I'm so sad that it's officially over. But man, Mob, Reagan, Dimple, and all that. Some of my favorite anime characters in recent memory. Such likable personas, even for someone as bland as Mob, but for good reason. It's, as I've always described, Mob Psycho 100 as a whole. Mob is the better Saitama, and Mob Psycho is the better One Punch Man. It is so good. Reagan is one of my favorite anime characters of all time. He's just so funny. He's scheming and lying, even when Mob already knows. It's so much fun. And this season felt so dark and so personal, but you can tell they went all out to cap off what has been an incredible 10 out of 10 series each season. It's so good.
I'm going to start that one from the top again, because I like Bungo Stray Dogs. I watched that like as it came out, and then I never got into season 2 because if I'm not mistaken, like it took a long time to come out. So by the time season 2 came out, I was not against it, but I was like very indifferent. Like I don't even remember what happened last season and all those things. So I need to start from the top because I do not like One Punch Man. Very unpopular opinion, I know.
Really?
But I loved what I saw of Mob Psycho 100.
Mob Psycho is so good. I love it. I introduced my mate to it, and
so
the moment he saw the Saitama cameo on Mob's cell phone, he's like, oh, because he loves One Punch Man. I'm like, well, if you love One Punch Man, you're gonna love Mob Psycho because he's more overpowered and more completely bland with his personality. But now there's a reason behind it.
By the way, have you seen The Disastrous Life of Psyche K?
I love it. What a pain.
Okay. I knew if you hadn't seen it, I was going to recommend because I was pretty sure you'd love it, and clearly you do. It's a really fun show too.
It's so much fun. It's like those mini episodes within an episode and certain events, but it all connects together very, very well. It's really fun. It's really fun.
Well, at the time I watched it, like as it was coming out, like I do in most anime, like the episodes were coming out as like 5 to 6 minutes episodes, and then eventually
Oh,
when it got
really?
onto Netflix, it's like it's just a ton of them bulked together to make up a normal 22 minute anime episode, which is interesting.
That's interesting.
Because I
Yeah, because
watched it very differently.
it does the same thing that Kaguya-sama does with multiple episodes within one episode. And by
Yeah.
the way, can't wait for the Kaguya-sama movie coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm a big Kaguya-sama Lovers War fan, and I can't wait for that movie as a manga reader as well.
I can't wait for Suzume. It's coming out like in April or something.
Yeah,
The new
that's the
Makoto
new movie
Shinkai
from
movie.
Matsuko Shinkai. Yeah, and we've got the Sword Art Online movie and the Slime movie coming out soon as well.
I got an invite for the Slime movie, but I've never seen the show, so I didn't go.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah. All right, and that's your number one then, Mob Psycho, the final season.
Yep.
All right, let's go into your weekly rankings now, ladies and gentlemen. Good friend of the show, Nathan Madigan. Number 4, Pale Blue Eyed Solid Mystery. Number 3, Searching Rewatch Tense Technology Thriller. Number 2, RRR Great Action. Number 1, Place Beyond the Pines. Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper are superb. I love this movie. I haven't seen it in such a long time. I need to get back on it, but it's a fantastic movie.
It's great.
Dominican Scott. Weekly ranking, number 5, Super Sentai Time Ranger. Number 4, Yu-Gi-Oh! The original anime, the best of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes. Number 3, Power Rangers Time Force. I assume you mean the best season of Power Rangers. Number 2, Chicago, which I've never seen. And number 1, Zack Snyder's Justice League. A great movie, a great rewatch. All good things from the stuff I've seen. And I've seen all these things except Chicago. All good things, my friend. All good things. Tobes. Weekly ranking. I enjoyed everything. Number 5, The Recruit on Netflix. Number 4, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. The best Mission Impossible movie until Fallout came out. Yeah. Number 3, Last Christmas. I know it's January, but whatever. Last Christmas is an underrated Christmas movie.
That's the Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding one, isn't it? Yeah, it's good.
Exactly.
It's very good.
It's such a fun time. Number 2, The Menu, one of the best movies of last year.
That was my favorite movie of last year.
No, that was the number 1. I think it was my number
just
10 or 9.
It just beat out One Piece. Yeah. It barely beat out One Piece Film Red. Barely.
Number 2, The Menu. Number 1, Bullet Train. Also incredibly fun. That was one of the best times I had in the theater watching a movie. Was Bullet Train. It's really, really super fun. And it's become it has officially placed David Leitch on that upper echelon, like, just do movies and I will go watch it. So yeah. And Luis Feliciano, weekly ranking, just 1, Elvis rewatch, RP Lisa Marie Presley, another tragic loss already in this year. SBC Bird only watched The Bad Batch this week. Loved it. I haven't watched episode 3. I haven't watched the Willow finale. A ton of stuff that I've just been not caught up in. But then again, I'm giving Bad Batch a chance, which is more than season 1 deserved.
I fell off Bad Batch season 1. I'm not going to watch season 2. I didn't even finish season 1. I got halfway through and I'm like, no, this isn't for me. I'm not going to necessarily say it's terrible. I just, no.
I wish I had done the same to you. I will say that I vehemently believe season 1 is an absolute waste of time, and I did really enjoy the premiere, like that 17-minute episode. I was like, oh, this is good. And then for some reason I kept on watching week after week, and it's not a good season. But Patrick, I watched episode 1 and 2 when it came out. I'm like, okay, this is definitely an improvement. But as you can see, not that much of an improvement that I was eager to watch episode 3.
No.
And lastly, Eric Thorpe, good friend of the show. Number 1, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Number 2, The Northman. Great movie. That was like my number 5 or 6.
Still haven't seen it. I need to actually finally sit down and bloody watch that damn movie.
It's really good. How do you feel about Robert Eggers? I know we've talked about it, but I don't remember you. Okay.
I love The Witch. I love what is it? The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse was my favorite movie of that year. It was incredible.
Nice.
And I just, man, I don't know why I haven't seen The Northman yet. I remember getting a screening invite, but I was really sick the night of the screening, so I didn't go, and I just didn't find the time. Still haven't to be able to watch it. I just need to actually sit down and watch that movie because I love Robert Eggers. Such a good director.
I rewatched it over Christmas because I wanted to show it to my dad, and it's such a fucking great movie. Such a fucking great movie.
Nice.
And The Witch is my second favorite horror movie of all time after The
It's
Exorcist.
such a good film. I love it. That ending I love in particular because it's left up to your interpretation. I love endings like that in horror movies.
Yeah, and he earns it. It's not like he swerves and just has this thing where, oh, you make up the ending in your head. No. He goes there from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
This whole storytelling is like that. Number 3, The Bad Batch season 1, episode 8, and the bad guys after the Bad Batch. I definitely do not agree with that, brother. Because the bad guys
was amazing.
Yeah, right.
Such a good movie. It was so much fun. The dance sequence, even near the end of the movie, is so much fun. Such a fun scene.
It's so good. I hope it becomes a franchise for them. I hope it becomes a franchise.
I went in ready to hate it, and then I walked in. I'm like, I loved it. It was in my top 10 of last year.
I didn't go in ready to love it, but I was like, this trailer looks great, but DreamWorks has been in a slump because they had
ever since How to Train Your Dragon 3.
It's so good. I cried so much in that movie. I was also in a lot of pain as I watched that movie, but even on rewatch, I had this thing on my on the roof of my mouth where it kind of created this bubble of air. And it pained me. Like, it pained me to speak. It made me to drink water. Sometimes it pained me to breathe. I really couldn't speak. I was speaking like this. But even on rewatch, it's such a great movie. So they had that, but then as a whole, they have been in a slump for a while. So I went into the bad guys like, all right, it's DreamWorks. They're becoming the new Illumination. And boom, they had that. And then they had Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Great year for them.
So yeah, great year. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Hopefully.
Number 5, The Pale Blue Eye, a solid mystery. Number 6, The Witcher Blood Origin. And I still need to start this one as well. The only Netflix thing that came out during that late December, early January boom I watched, was Treason, starring Charlie Cox, because it stars Charlie Cox. Really fun miniseries, quick to watch, 5 episodes in and out. But I still need to give this one a chance. And that is it for weekly rankings. Thank you all for sharing your weekly rankings. And now, as per the main topic, because we all know the announcement for, it's not going to be called this, but let's use it for nomenclature's sake. The announcement of Phase 1 for the DCU is looming. We know we're getting it at some point in January. And there's only 2 weeks left in January, more or less. So we know it's coming. We can expect a lot of things. At the very least, I would say 5 movies would be the average, just to see that they have something. Not like 2 movies, not like 3 movies. Like, here's a bunch of things that really chart a path for them to follow. And we've all been speculating that Superman is going to be the character to start the DCU, because Zach and I discussed last week, and I want to know your thoughts on this, Patrick. If you're going to start a DC universe and you don't have any restrictions in regards to characters like Marvel did when they started, they didn't have Spider-Man, they didn't have Fantastic Four, X-Men, all those things. They couldn't use the Hulk. You start a DC universe, you start with Superman. That's
Batman.
The biggest jewel.
It's Batman, but we've already got the Batman now, and I have no idea what they're planning on doing with that, other than putting it in.
They've confirmed that Matt Reeves is doing his thing. It's not gonna, and they're gonna use a different Batman. But precisely because they already have a Batman that is separate, as to not confuse the general audience, I think you start with Superman, maybe do someone else as a second movie, and then in your third movie, do introduce a different Batman into your DC universe, as to establish we have this universe and we have that other Batman, and they're completely different. Because otherwise, between the two, my favorite character is Batman. So yes, all things being equal, do start the DC universe with Batman. But as things stand, the wisest choice, the wisest move is to start with a Superman. Well, Zach and I speculated last week, like we gave our theories as to what the 5 movies, let's say they are 5 movies, because it could be 4 movies and a show, 3 movies and 2 shows, or something like that. But let's just say they are all 5 movies. And we speculated that not only do you start with Superman, but to deliver this big boom and to also differentiate yourself from the previous plans the former DCEU had, where they announce movies, and they all get canceled eventually. You start with a Superman and you let us know who is playing Superman. Well, we all thought that was possible. We all thought that was likely, but James Gunn revealed this week that while he is deep into writing the Superman script, which he is going to be writing, there is no one has been cast as Superman. No one has come close to be cast as Superman because the casting process hasn't started. James Gunn will not start the casting process until the script is 1, finished, or 2, nearly finished. And he has not nearly finished the script, which is a good thing. Writing a script is hard work and it takes time. James Gunn assumed the chair in November. He announced that he would write a Superman movie in December. So as of right now, he's been writing it for 2 months, maybe, perhaps even less than 2 months as a whole. So I don't want a Superman script to be done in 2 months. I don't want any script for a major Hollywood feature to be done in 2 months.
4 to 6 months minimum, as from where I
stand. And that is fast. 4 months would be fast.
Yeah, but that's the absolute minimum.
Yeah,
whereas a script would need to take at least 6 to 8 months, maybe even 12, to be absolutely reasonable, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I usually like to finish my first draft for one of my features. I took 7 months. And back at film school, like the idea is 8 to 9. Like it's a baby. You're having a baby, you take 9 months to have the baby. You take 9 months to write a script. That's how hard it is to write a script. So I hope we don't hear about a process of nearly finishing the script for Superman, if it is a Superman that is starting the DCU, until Comic-Con or something like that.
Like when it came to writing a script, I was always taught for your first month, use that as your beginning starter storyboard script, because the first idea you ever have, a part of your script, is never the final idea you should go with.
Exactly.
And use that as the stepping stone, so each month it can grow and incubate into something bigger and greater over a big 8 to 12 months period. That's what I was always told. But write the first draft in a month if you have to, and use that as a stepping stone to know what not to do, but to also tell you what you want to do and how to develop and elaborate off of those ideas. That's what
be prepared to throw that entire first draft to the garbage.
The amount of times I've done that with the short film I'm ready to do this year is fucking uncanny. I think I went through 4 or 5 first drafts and threw them all out the fucking window before I settled on a first draft I was happy with to develop upon. And then there was a third draft. I'm like, no. And started from second draft again to continue going off of that. It's hard work. It's not easy.
And that's just the process. It's not that you did anything wrong. That's just how it works. You don't use your first, your second, your third, your fourth. Perhaps you don't even use your 5th idea. It's always around the 5th, 6th, 7th idea that you go with. Up until then,
9 or
it's
10
also the garbage
drafts. I went through about 9 or 10, and it's however many it takes is what it takes.
Yeah, exactly. You trust the process. There is a method in the madness, and being in the business of writing scripts, being in the business of filmmaking is quite literally madness. So I'm very happy that James Gunn is taking his time.
Me too.
But I will say, I'm shocked. I am shocked that they're ready to make this announcement. And as in regards to everything we know right now, they don't have any hook. Yes, they're going to announce the titles, but we now live in this world where titles, they're cool, but we've become spoiled as an audience. We've become we need something more. We need something to spice things up. So I wonder if...
I don't know what the title is until I'm in that theater watching the movie and the real title appears on screen. I'd like that sort of experience for a Superman movie, especially starting a new universe.
What do you think is going to be called? I think it's just going to be called Superman because we have never had a movie just called Superman.
We really haven't, have we?
Yeah.
Well, we've had Superman the movie, but that's still got
yeah,
the movie on it. So
exactly.
yeah, I think it may just be called Superman, or I don't know. I don't know what they might do. I think they might. I really hope they don't do this, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do a thing where it's like it's the rebirth of a new what is it, universe and everything. So they might try to throw that into a Superman title, and I'm like, yeah. Like I can see them doing it,
Because
but I
there is
really
a
hope
story
they don't.
called Superman Rebirth, and it's a
That's
great
what I
story,
mean.
but it's not the
That's what I
first story
mean.
you want to start with
Eh,
in
eh,
regards
eh,
to
eh,
Superman.
You wouldn't even want to start it after 3 movies, the rebirth story. You want
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
that over a series of films, like throughout the entire universe over time.
exactly.
It'd be like an
Um,
Avengers thing almost. That's how big the scale is for the rebirth story almost.
exactly. You don't start with Avengers Kang Dynasty. You have that as the
No,
culmination after years and years and years
exactly.
of Avengers story. But like I was saying, I am shocked that at least of right now there is not a hoax. So I wonder if while we don't have a casting for Superman, while we shouldn't expect a casting for Superman in the next couple of weeks, whenever that big announcement comes out, maybe they already have someone else cast. Maybe they already have roles for maybe one or two of the projects that they will announce as part of the
Mm.
slate, as part of the course they're charting for the universe. And I wonder what that is, because even if we do get a Jason Momoa as Lobo, which as of right now, that's still speculation. Remember,
I really
I know a
hope
ton
not
of.
because it hasn't been. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I'd like to see him stay as Aquaman. I'd really like to see him stay as Aquaman.
I
But
don't think he's going to stay, but I would love for
that's
him to
what I
stay as
mean.
Aquaman,
I don't think he
because
will,
he's
but I
so
would
great as
love him to.
Aquaman. Well, but
Yeah,
even
he
that one,
is.
if he is going to get recast as Lobo, you're not going to announce that when an Aquaman movie is about to come out. You're not going to
No,
announce that
exactly.
before the Lost Kingdom comes out, which I'm super excited for because I love that
Yeah.
first Aquaman movie. um, but I wonder what are they going to announce, because you can't announce a new Flash. Because of the same reasons you can't announce a new Aquaman or the actor who's
Mhm.
playing Aquaman as a new character. Maybe at this point you can announce a Wonder Woman. Maybe at this point you can finally make a ton of fans' wishes come true and show us that there's a Green Lantern movie coming, a new Green Lantern
Please.
movie, because that
What do you mean?
deserves the
It's the
big
first
screen.
one. It's the only Green Lantern movie.
Exactly, it's the first one. There's no other.
The
Well, there are a
the
few animated Green Lantern movies, and they're all
I'm talking
solid.
live
So,
action. I'm talking live
oh
action.
no,
Like we need.
that's the first
There
one.
is. This
That's
would
the
be the
first
first
one.
one. This would be the first one.
Exactly,
No, what was that other one
and
that
they
came
should.
out?
And they should focus on the core as a whole. I would love to see just a police squad, but in space. Don't make this police academy.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean. But police squad in space, a galactic adventure. Um, that would be really cool. But like I said, it does make total sense. We're not getting a Superman. The more you think about it, oh yeah, it's way too soon to get this announcement as of right now. But I do hope they have an angle. Even if it isn't Superman, maybe they do have a director. Maybe he comes out like, I'm writing this. We have Superman as our first movie, and I don't know. Robert Eggers is directing Super. Awful choice for Superman, honestly, but it's the first name that came to mind. Even
I'd
though
love
I
to
love
see
him as a
Gunn do it.
filmmaker.
I'd love to see Gunn
You think he's a fit
helm.
as a director?
I think he's fit as a Superman director because he has proven that he can do serious movies as well. James Gunn.
That's true. That's
He
true.
can do serious movies, and I would love to see him do a Superman. Like, even though it's still a dark comedy, it was more serious than anything else, and it was also one of his first features. Slither is fantastic.
Slither is
Slither
really good.
is a dark comedy, but it's also very serious. A very serious film, and it is proof that he can do serious movies. It's just a matter of how he helms it and how it's written for him to be able to do it right. And I think James Gunn, I have a lot of faith in him for that.
I do believe, though, and I can't be sure of this right now, but I do believe while he is writing, he has announced that he won't be directing anything, at least as of right now, because he has 4 years in this contract to be the head of DC Studios, of the DCU. And I think, at least as per this first batch of movies, I don't think he's going to be directing anything because he has said so himself. Like, I believe he has said,
Mm-hmm.
while I'll be writing, while I'm here to run this, I will not be directing. So, but that could change. So who knows? But as of right now, as things stand, we should expect movies announced, but no casting. Maybe directors for 2, maybe 3 of the projects. I'm very curious to what's to come, and that's for sure, whenever it comes out, going to be the main topic of an upcoming
Mm-hmm.
This Week in Geek episode. So let us know what you guys think of this upcoming announcement. Let us know what you think of No Superman has been cast. Let us know who you cast as Superman. I honestly have no ideas as of right now because I haven't sat down and researched and thought about it. So I'm not going to come up with a name off the top of my head because that wouldn't be good for anyone. It wouldn't make me look good because then I remember another and go, oh shit, he'd be better. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments below. Drop it in the live chat. Make conversations not only with us, but with one another. And with that out of the way, we're going to go into the most fun part of the show, my friends. We're going to go into your questions left in the community tab. If you haven't left one, you're still on time. Or if you want to support the channel as you ask great questions, consider the tip link in the description or the super chat feature. And I did see a weekly ranking. GKOP put in just before as we were starting the main topic discussion. So let's shout it out. Weekly ranking: Babylon. Highly disappointed by this movie. You're wrong. You're wrong. You need to put it in number 1. Number 2, Tar. Cate Blanchett's great. Movie was good. I agree. She is phenomenal. I do not love the movie, but I do like it. And number 1,
I still haven't
Pearl.
seen it.
It is a chore because it's one of those movies. It's so immensely pretentious, but there is so much quality in it that's undeniable, I feel. Number 1, Pearl. You need to switch this one with Babylon because I did not go positive on Pearl at all. I did not find myself liking this movie whatsoever. It just doesn't work for me. Apart from Mia Goth, apart from the visuals, the story just doesn't get me hooked. I felt no suspense. I thought it was very predictable, very mundane. I was already disappointed with X because beyond the style, it's very standard. I went positive on X. It's a good horror movie, but there was just nothing sparking the imagination for me. Apart from the Filthy. I love the Filthy in the first half. The Filthy is fun. But if I'm just watching that, I'd rather just stay at home and watch a porno, which I honestly never do. I never watch the porno.
Wait, what's wrong with porn?
There's nothing wrong. I don't mean to say there's nothing wrong. I also don't watch a lot of documentaries. There's nothing wrong with documentaries, but it's just not something that elicits my interest. So with that, thank you for sharing, Dojiko EP. And with that out of the way, let's move on to your questions. Lady Aaron, with The Last of Us, well, I forgot to rank The Last of Us. Well,
Oops.
Right before Babylon. Let's say that. Right before Babylon. Which is a number 1 and should be on number 1 on anyone's list. With The Last of Us arriving very soon under the reviews it has so far, do you think The Last of Us could be the best video game adaptation of all time or not, and why? Well, there's a review on the channel right now for the entire first season that has gotten over 7,000 views, one of the most watched videos on the channel. Thank you everyone who watched it. If you're watching this live stream, thank you for supporting that video. Let's get to 10,000. Let's put it on the top 10 of all time for this channel. Let's get to 10,000, then 15,000, and so on and so forth. So I address all of that in the review, so I'm not saying anything new here. But Patrick, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch it through screeners. I'm sure you're very excited, though. So what are your thoughts?
I reached out and in the end did not get accepted. I'm kind of glad I wasn't because I have made an arrangement with some of my buddies who are Last of Us fans and aren't Last of Us fans that weekly we will be meeting up at my house and we will be watching each episode as it drops as like a little watch party thing between all of us. So I'm kind of glad I didn't get accepted. I am super excited for the show, but simultaneously worried as a fan of both movies, video games, the source material, and also video game adaptations are usually very hit or miss, no matter the talent behind it. Mm-hmm. There are ones that usually a lot of people don't like that I defend. For example, Silent Hill and the new Resident Evil movie that came out in 2021. I actually thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. It's just a lot of people forgot that it exists. I forgot it existed until a couple of weeks ago as well. But I do enjoy watching it every single time. Or it is flat out garbage, like your Dead or Alive, your what is it? What is it? House of the
Assassin's
Dead.
Creed.
Assassin's Creed. House of the Dead was, why the fuck would you make a video game movie based on an on-rail shooter? Fuck off. Silent Hill
Well, they're
Revelations
making a Gran
3D.
Turismo movie, which is a game where you literally just drive.
Yeah, but 4v Ferrari was great, and that was based on a thing where
Ferrari
someone
was
just
fantastic.
drove. And I actually
but
saw
there's
the
the
little
friendship, there's the politicking, there's all that, and hopefully
That's
Gran
very
Turismo
true.
has that and proves me wrong.
Hey, at least Gran Turismo will have Sony product placement, right? Right?
Yay!
But it actually looks all right. I love the directing style and the cinematography that was shown in that little featurette. Holy shit, it looks just like the game, and I'm really all for that.
Very Top Gunny.
Yeah. I finally watched Maverick, by the way, the other week. It's great.
Yes. That was the first movie I watched this year. It was rewatching my favorite movie of 2022.
Would not have made it in my top 10, by the way. Would not have. I liked it, but it wasn't top 10 for me material. But yeah, The Last of Us, as of that, though, I have seen the reviews and I just have ignored them because I don't trust reviews usually. I just sit there and I'm like, I'm going to go in for my own experience. I'm going to come up with my own opinion and my own interpretation of what I think. I'm not going to be influenced 9 times out of 10. I will completely avoid reviews and Rotten Tomatoes scores nowadays before I watch something because I just don't like to. But in a climate where we still haven't got Pearl or Babylon or Tar and all that sort of stuff, it's kind of hard when those have been out everywhere else.
We haven't got Pearl either. So don't feel bad.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Pearl. Fuck off.
And
We haven't even got it in physical media.
Tar only came out yesterday over here. I only saw it longer because I went to Venice. And Babylon is coming out this week. So the UK is not too far off from Australia.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Lady Aaron, with the Golden Globes over the week, what are your thoughts on the winners of the movie awards? Any surprise wins, or were all of them kind of expected wins? I no surprise. To surprise of no one, I do not give a shit about the Golden Globes, so I did not pay attention to the Golden Globes over the week. They're a useless award that is worth absolutely squat. All they do is give out a great show, a great party where everyone gets drunk. But even that, I heard, was not that great. So I don't know who won the Golden Globes because I don't care about them. Patrick, did you pay attention to the worthless piece of shit that is the Golden Globes?
Let me put it this way. I actually completely forgot that the Golden Globes even happened until I saw the tweets. I had no idea it was even happening.
I mean, they happened on a Tuesday.
Did it?
Yeah, why do you have an award show on a Tuesday? Like, people have to go to work the next day, and the only good thing the Golden Globes do, like we established, is getting people drunk. So
it makes you want to get drunk. So are the Oscars nowadays. The Oscars make me want to drink.
But they're not as good a party. They're the most prestigious awards, and that's very true. But they're not as good at
drugs. Drugs instead.
Yeah, it's better than getting drunk. I'll say that. All right.
Sniff.
Sniff, sniff. Lady Aaron, what are your thoughts on the SAG nominations for the movie categories? If you managed to see them, were there any surprises or notable snubs that caught you off guard? I didn't pay attention to a lot of them, but I did see the actors nominated, like for movie. So Colin Farrell makes sense. Austin Butler makes sense. Adam Sandler for Hustle. He's good. Don't get me wrong, and Hustle is good as a whole. But
Hustle's good.
Really? Top 5 of the year performances, and the same goes for Eddie Redmayne in The Good Nurse. Really good movie. I did not expect it to be as good as it was.
Is top 5 though. I don't think he's top 5.
He is absolutely chilling in that, but he is not top 5 of the year. I don't even remember what the 5th one is, and maybe it is Brendan Fraser for The Whale. Yeah, let me know what you find. But Hugh Jackman for The Sun.
Which nominations were these?
SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. Tom Cruise in Maverick. I know that's it's not an unpopular opinion, but it's one that a lot of people, they do see it, and then a lot of other people like, yeah, he's really good, but not quite top five. But to me, he sure would get the nomination at least. Um, who else? Brad Pitt in Babylon, though he'd probably go for supporting. Was Diego Calva? It probably was Diego Calva for Babylon who got the fifth spot, and he deserves it because he's the heart and soul of that movie.
I'm currently looking it up. Supporting role. Here we go. Outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role was Kate Blanchett for Tar, Viola Davis for The Woman King, brilliant. Anna de Armas for Blonde, Danielle Deadweiler for Till, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Outstanding performance by a male actor in a leading role was Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Bill Nye for Living, and Adam Sandler for Hustle.
Okay, so Eddie Redmayne didn't get in. I thought he had gotten in. Huh?
No, he was probably what is it? Hang on.
TV movie? Because it was a Netflix thing?
Eddie Redmayne was outstanding performance by a male actor in a supporting role.
In a supporting role. Okay, good. Bill Nye. I did not expect him to get in, and I do not love Living, but he is fascinating to watch in Living.
Yeah.
He is fabulous in that movie. I would still put Hugh Jackman. I would still put Tom Cruise maybe first, but no qualms about it. Personally, I would just place those above him, but no qualms about him getting that. So those are the only ones I paid attention to. I just stumbled upon the lead actors. Do you have any thoughts, though, now that you're looking at the thing? No? All right.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to pay attention. I'll see it show up in my Twitter
Patrick,
feed.
They're going to stream. Netflix bought the rights, and they're going to stream the ceremony, but not on Netflix. For some reason, they're streaming it on the Netflix YouTube channel.
I get spoiled from all the awards anyway, because Australia always gets this shit streamed an hour later than the US and UK anyway. So I don't give a fuck.
All right. Sadly, over the week, we had a very shocking and sad death of Lisa Marie Presley. She died at the age of 54 after being hospitalized from suffering a cardiac arrest. What are your thoughts on this tragic death, and do you think Elvis could win more awards because of this? So, starting off with the second part of the question, I don't think so, and it shouldn't. Elvis should win many awards because it deserves. It's one of the best movies of the year. It should win all the awards that it does off of its own merits, out of being a really great, fascinating movie.
And I think that would be disrespectful as well if they wrote on someone involved with Presley's death to be able to win more awards. It would be the same thing as, say, like, for example, if Chadwick had passed away when Black Panther was up for its Oscars, that Black Panther won more awards because Chadwick had unfortunately passed away. It'd be the same thing. Exactly. I think that's very, very disgusting if that would be the case. I think Elvis is a fine movie. I didn't love it, but I don't hate it, and I am very happy it's getting all the award nominations it is from what I've seen. Especially Austin Butler, who I didn't love his performance as Elvis. I know, unpopular opinion. But I'm glad he's getting the recognition he does deserve, because even if I didn't love his performance as Elvis, I do think he's a very good actor.
He is fantastic. I absolutely love him. Love him in that movie. I think he's top 2 of the performances, that is. But and also beyond being disgusting, like you said, which I agree, it's also a pity award if it does. I don't think anyone in that team, the editors, the sound mixers, the sound editors, which is not one award, scimitar, anyone involved in that movie, you don't want to win anything because of Lisa Marie's death. Like, it's just, you don't want to win anything out of pity. You want to win something out of merit.
And especially when Austin just made a statement saying that even though he never met Elvis, that now he will always be a part of him due to this performance.
Yeah.
I think Austin would feel more than disgusted if he won an award just because she passed away, and he would feel indebted to. No, that's the wrong word. He would feel disgusting and almost like it's insulting to her legacy and Elvis's legacy as well. He would hate that, I feel.
It would feel pandering or patronizing even. It's a
patronizing,
word. It just doesn't work. In regards to the death itself, I mean, 54 is way too young to go. So it's just tragic. It's sad in every way, and I can only I can only think of Priscilla in this moment where she lost a child, like, and that's never easy. Can never be
Yeah.
easy. Like, I wouldn't know from experience, but all thoughts and prayers go to to Priscilla and Lisa Marie's friends and family, and to Riley Keel, who's her daughter. Yeah. Lady Aaron, can you guys believe that we have over 1,000 Pokemon now? We have a total of 1,008 in the 27 years Pokemon has been around. If you were a trainer, what would your signature Pokemon be, and why? What region would you like to be in if you enter the Pokemon world? Torchic would be my starter, and I would be in the Hoenn region. Easy. No ifs, buts, or maybes. He's the greatest starter of all time. He's my favorite starter. And yeah. Patrick, do you have any thoughts?
I played Pokemon Go.
That's the worst Pokemon game. That is not real Pokemon.
I've never been a big Pokemon fan. I'm going to be honest.
That's
I just
fair.
want to... I don't know the regions. I just want a Snorlax so I can sleep.
You know what? That's a great Pokemon to have. And he's strong for battle. He's got great stats.
I just want to sleep. I want to be like Pokemon Go and then just nap on his big belly.
And it's about time for Snorlax to get an evolution. He got a pre-evolution in Generation 4. We're going into... We just got Generation 9. So Generation 10, let's celebrate and give Snorlax an evolution. He deserves love. That big squishy boy. With Scarlet and Violet, okay, so this is another Pokemon question. With Scarlet and Violet out last year, what are your top 5 Pokemon games that you have ever played, including Scarlet and Violet? And Zach's not here. Top 5 Pokemon games. Okay, that's just here. It's Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go, Pokemon
Actually,
Go.
I did play what is it? I did play Gold and Silver.
Gold, yeah. Or
Gold
the
was
remakes,
alright.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
That's it. I played Heart Gold and what was it? Gold and Silver. I'm just gonna call them Gold and Silver, but I played them both when they came out.
Right.
And I thought they were fun. I've never been a big Pokemon fan, but the ones I have played regarding games, I don't remember them that much, but I do like them. They're enjoyable.
Those set the bar for the remakes of previous games.
Right.
They were really good remakes. Top 5, I don't know, but like I can give you top 3, not in any particular order, but the original Pokemon Emerald is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are wonderful. Like they topped Heart Gold and Soul Silver 100%, but the greatest Pokemon game of all time is Pokemon Platinum. Pokemon Platinum, like no game since then, and it's been over 10 years at this point, no game has been able to surpass it in terms of overall quality, the access that you have, the events that they have for that game. It was just a ton of fun. So yeah, number 1 is Pokemon Platinum, but shout out to the original Emerald and the remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Was Pokemon Blue the one with that was the water Pokemon centric?
Blue,
Pokemon?
it was the original.
Yeah,
Blastoise.
What did you think of the remake that just came out though a couple of years ago? Where was it a remake? I don't know, but IGN gave cons to it for having too much water.
Oh, that's the. I think you mean Alpha Sapphire, because the entire region of Owen, which is the region that generation is set on, a lot of the themes in that are nature versus humanity, and so a lot of it is set on water, so you have to swim a lot. And so a ton of people give a ton of shit to that region because it has a ton of water. That's part of the adventure. That's what made it different. Because at the time, the maps of the first region, Kanto, and the second region, Johto, were just so similar. They had absolutely no differences whatsoever. And then in comes that one, and it just revolutionizes the whole thing. So I like it. It's my favorite one out of them all.
Too much water.
Hoenn. Yeah.
I'm actually looking it up.
Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah, it was what is it? Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
And Alpha Sapphire, yeah. People don't like water for some reason. Learn to swim, you imbeciles.
Pokemon Alpha Sapphire introduces needed updates and gorgeous new view of Hoenn, but clearer view reveals it's dated holdovers. It has gorgeous details, post-game content, some smart updates, but cons are it has too many HMs, and then also and then it also has too much fucking water. Are you shitting me?
Well, yeah, that's not a valid criticism. Learn to swim. You can swim. You have Pokemon to swim on.
All right, Christ.
If you rewatched any 2022 movies, which one got even better upon rewatching them, and why? I mean, again, it's one of those list things where I would have to research. But I watched Top Gun Maverick. That always gets better on rewatch. Babylon always gets better on rewatch. The Northman didn't get better. It just stayed where it was, and it was already very high. And yeah, that those are the ones that come to mind for me, because those are the ones I most recently watched. Do you have any?
They're mainly anime movies, because I mainly sought out a bunch of anime films last year, actually. One of them was Bubble, one that I really didn't like when I first watched it. But as I've, sat on it and I've watched it once or two more times because of friends of mine who are anime fans, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll watch it with them. It's grown on me a little. It's not great, but I don't think it's terrible either. I think the story and main premise behind it is actually something sweet. What is it? One Piece film Red, I already loved, but it just grew on me every single time I watched that film, and it just shows the camaraderie, the beauty of the Straw Hat Pirates and how far they've come, but also how they can banter and have fun together, but someone as personal as Uta to Luffy, especially with his relationship to Shanks and everything. It was something that was done really well, even though the anime as of now, and even the manga, hasn't touched on it all too much, because Uta is a very new type character still. That has been referenced here and there, but that's about it. And then, I didn't like it when it first came out, but Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, but I actually have grown to love it. But I think it was my blind fucking resentment of the anime itself, because I really don't like the anime of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, really?
I think Itadori is one of the blandest, most boring fucking characters. And the fact that he is always overshadowed by Gojo and Panda and all these other side characters that I think are way better, but with a very generic and utterly very sloppily, developed narrative and world. I feel like I love the world, but I feel it's very sloppily developed and built up. I just have a lot of problems with Jujutsu Kaisen, and I really don't enjoy it. I'm hoping season 2 is better. I have a lot of faith in MAPPA. Once again, I love MAPPA as a studio, and I do read the manga, and the manga has gotten better. Not Itadori as a character, but you get what I mean. I just think a character's sole purpose being because is very boring.
Well, Gojo is the best character in that entire thing.
Exactly.
I do like Itadori, but I felt the exact same way you feel about him. I felt about Yuta. He's the blandest character I've seen in a long time, where the only thing that makes him interesting is gone by the end of the film. So I don't know why he's coming back to the show. I don't know why he's coming back to the narrative, and hopefully they prove me wrong.
It's not for a while yet, though. I don't think.
Yeah,
it's okay,
but
a while yet.
But by the end of that movie, where they set up that he's coming back, it's like, I have no interest in this person. Please do not bring him in.
You see, the things I wanted in Itadori, I found in Utah, whereas the things you had, what is it? It was like a vice versa with you and I. I think we did actually discuss this a little while ago.
I think so, because I liked the movie overall, but I wasn't like overly impressed. And I really like the anime. Like, it's not like my top 5 all time. I don't absolutely love it, but I do really enjoy it. I do enjoy the world. I do like Itadori. I think he's a very likable character. This kind of stumbles into greatness. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Gojo is absolutely the best character out of them all.
Oh, he's amazing. I love Gojo. And what's her name? Is it the one with the hammer and the nails? Nanami, or what's her name? Nanami? Love her. I love her. Yeah. She's amazing. I do really like her. And Maki, is it Maki?
The guy who only talks in food?
I do love him though. I do like him, but I'm talking of the girl with the glasses who has the staff, but it's from that old legion of like warriors that
it is Maki.
Yeah, she's amazing. Love her as well. I love her attitude towards everything.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. All the other characters are much better than fucking Itadori.
Nathan Madigan, thoughts on the trailer for Ari Aster's Beau is Afraid. Joaquin Phoenix looks insane, and I love the Wizard of Oz inspired set at the end. Patrick, have you seen the trailer?
I'm avoiding the trailer because I love Ari
Okay.
Aster. I love Hereditary and Midsummer. I'm seeing it anyway. I don't want to see anything.
So for those who don't know, I am not the biggest fan of Hereditary. I think it's a very well made movie, but I find it very standard as a horror movie in terms of its actual substance and
You're
content.
wrong.
I'm not. It's very true. It's just very well put together, and it is very well put together. I do really like Midsummer. Midsummer is so good,
especially that really long 4-hour director's cut. I love.
I haven't seen it. I've only seen the theatrical original cuts. Is it 4 hours?
No, it's not. It's like 3 hours and 15 minutes or 3.5
hours. So coming into this film, I really didn't know what to expect. The posters were more funny than they were like creepy or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I just judging from the trailer, and I could be wrong, and at this point I hope I'm wrong, but judging from this trailer, it's seeming to me like it's another Hereditary, where, oh, this is very well put together, and it's not hitting for me. That's just the sensation I got off the trailer. Joaquin Phoenix, I do not doubt he's going to do a great job. Holly from The Office, Amy Ryan. I think it's Amy Ryan. Amy Ryan is going to do a great job. Richard Kind is in this movie, and that's awesome. Bing Bong from Inside Out. I really did not get what this was about, and that's not necessarily a problem for me. I like to be curious, but take into consideration this is A24's most expensive production. They spent $60 million on this movie. $60 million. I think this is going to flop very hard. And on one hand, it has shown that they trust Ari Aster a lot. Like, they want to let him do whatever he wants, and they're willing to give him whatever he wants. But if this flops as hard as it looks like it's going to, it could push him back, at least in his relationship with A24. He has to start with something else. It's funny that this trailer came out this week. It's funny that you, Nathan, asked this question, because just this week, earlier on, I watched this college thesis short film, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, which is on YouTube. It's a very strong script. I will say it reads much better than how it actually is in the final result. But his direction, which is the thing that really attracts you to his movies, has gotten better. I feel like his screenplays have gotten a little weaker. But I hope I eat all these words when I watch Beau is Afraid. I hope I am proved wrong, because I want to be excited. I want to like it. I want to like everything I want to watch. Right?
It's 3 hours long.
Movie. I know, which is another thing. But yeah, let's hope I enjoy it, because I always want to root for the artist. I want to root for creativity, and this man clearly is an artist, and he clearly is creative. So,
and that's the thing I'll always say about Ari, and why I'll always be there, even if his movies don't ever turn out great. Like, I love both of his previous work, and even if Beau is Afraid isn't great, I don't doubt that it'll be beautiful though to witness.
It will be an interesting miss.
So. Yeah, he will be, because he is an artist and he knows what he is doing. Like, if Damien Chazelle ever made a what I would proclaim not so great movie, or Robert Eggers, they both know their craft so well. All three of them do. And even if I don't like their movies, if I ever didn't, which so far there's not a single movie of any of these three directors I don't like, I would still appreciate the craftsmanship on display, and I feel that strongly.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Tobes asks, how would you guys feel if Jacob Elordi was cast as the new Superman, and who would you like personally to be the new Superman? Jacob Elordi is a great actor. If you see Euphoria, Nate Jacobs, one of the most despicable characters.
That TV. Guy from The Kissing Booth. That's what I know him from.
Well, he's Australian as well, so you got to back up your boy, Patrick. That being said, I do really like him as an actor outside of Kissing Booth movies. awful choice as Superman. Like one of the worst castings, not castings because it hasn't happened and hopefully won't happen, but it's one of the worst casting suggestions I've ever seen. And I'm not saying YouTubes are suggesting it, but I've seen people legitimately suggest him as Superman on Twitter, and I think it's awful. I do not see him as a fit whatsoever.
Who would be interesting as a Superman? Henry Golding, actually.
I do not dislike it, but it's not. It doesn't like scream to me, "Oh yes, he's the one."
It doesn't scream that to me either. I just think it'd be interesting.
Interesting, yeah, because he's a really good actor. So anytime I get to see him, bring it on. And I was to back up how I have nothing against Jacob Elordi. I saw another suggestion this week, or was it 2 weeks ago at this point, as someone to play Superman, and this is a spectacular actor who is probably on his way to win an Oscar. He's one of the best actors working today off of what he did this past year. Austin Butler, also an awful choice for Superman. I do not buy him in that role whatsoever. That being said, if Marvel wants to recast Star Fox and take out Harry Styles, talk about fit with Austin Butler.
Yes.
He would fit that role like a glove. It's not even funny. Who would I personally cast to be the new Superman? You just gave your Henry Golding suggestion, which is a really good suggestion. It's an interesting suggestion. Who would I cast? Like I said earlier, I really don't know. I don't have someone who immediately comes to my mind. And of the things that I've heard, Patrick's is honestly one of the better suggestions, even if I'm not like, yes, that's the one. But I have not seen like a single suggestion where I'm like, yes, let's go that route. So at this point, I don't know, and I know that sounds like I'm cheating the question or avoiding the question, but I really don't have anyone that comes to mind. Even if you ask me like who should be the DCU Batman, I don't know. Well, I do know. I just had someone pop it to me. Kate Blanchett. Well, you know what? She'd be a great Batman. She'd be a great anything.
Bring back George Clooney and the bat nipples.
Oh, God. No, please don't. Thoughts on Austin Butler win? If he wins the Oscar?
No, he won the Golden Globe. I did see that.
Oh, he won the Golden Globe. I mean, good for him, I guess. I mean, the Golden Globes are good to wipe your ass with.
I don't give a shit about the Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes are good as paperweights. He's going to use it as a really nice looking paperweight. So yeah. You know what? I do know someone who won a Golden Globe. Paul Walter Hauser won for Blackbird. How do I know this? Because I watched the ceremony? Absolutely not. I do not waste my time like that. But Paul Walter Hauser is a big wrestling fan, and he was just in this week's episode of AEW with his Golden Globe, and he took a part in his storyline because he's a fan of wrestling as well. So I enjoyed seeing that. Good on Paul Walter Hauser. Jack Alexander. Last night I watched the Florida Project for the first time, and I just really did not enjoy the film. I know it's an unpopular opinion. Sorry?
Is that the one with Willem Dafoe?
Yes, the Sean Baker one. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it once and I thought it was alright.
So what A24 movies are the most overrated to you? Ren, I know you hate Hereditary. I don't hate Hereditary. I just have a deep hatred for how overrated it is. But I do not hate it.
Underrated.
But definitely I would put Hereditary on that overrated pedestal. I would put It Comes at Night as well, but that is very divisive. That is not universally loved.
I love
Hereditary
It Comes at Night.
Oh, I was so severely disappointed. I do not think it's a good movie.
Really?
Yeah. So let me just
Uncut Gems.
244. Oh, yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Fuck off. Oh my god. I'd rather not watch a movie and have my senses assaulted constantly. Like if I'm playing video games, sure, because that's what they set out to do. But in a movie, I'd rather not just feel like I'm being railed in my eardrums.
I fucking hate that movie. I went in so excited because I love good time. The trailers look sensational. It was the surprise film at that year's at that year's
Fantastic
LFF
Fest? Oh, okay.
LFF London Film Festival. So yeah, I was severely disappointed with that. I did not realize White Noise was A24.
The
After
Hole in the
Sun
Ground was so
is
bland.
awfully overrated. I don't think I've seen that one.
It's fine.
Man was divisive, so that does not get the overrated stamp.
Climax was again fine, but not as great as a lot of people made it out to be. It's very
I hate it. I hate Gaspar Noé as a person.
Yeah.
I do not connect with most of his movies. There's a movie of his I really do like, though. I'm not remembering which one it is, but there is a movie of it. Red Rocket is like super standard. It's another Sean Baker movie from the director of Florida Project. I do really love Florida Project, though.
Can I point out High Life is incredibly underrated, though? High Life?
Yes.
I loved High Life. It was one of my favorite movies of that year. I still think, along with Good Time, that's Robert Pattinson's best performance. I think he's incredible in that movie.
I will also, since you did it, I'm also going to shout another underrated movie. This was my number 3 or 4 of the year. It came out, Swiss Army Man. It's a wonderful movie. Go watch it. It's spectacular.
Right. How can you not laugh at Daniel Radcliffe being used as a fucking jet board while he's farting?
Yeah. It's so good. I really like it. All right, and those are a few overrated, but you know what? Do try Red Rocket. Even if you didn't care for Florida Project, I personally do love Florida Project. Did not care for Red Rocket. They are wildly different movies. So give that one a chance, Jack. Give that one a chance. Nathan Holton, thoughts on Missing being delayed so long in the UK? I did not know it was delayed.
Please not Australia.
I did not know it was coming out until I saw Zach put up his review for it. So I'm curious to go watch it, but it's not one I have prevalently on my mind. Do check the UK date as well as you're checking the Australia one, if you have it, if they're right beside one another. Thoughts, Dominican Scott. Thoughts and opinions on this current trending. Hashtag sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. It's moronic. It's beyond stupid. It's not gonna happen. That's not how things work. And these cultists, this Snyder cultists. I say that as someone who loves Zack Snyder as a filmmaker. I like all of his movies except for Sucker Punch. It's so stupid. Pay no mind to these people who are backing these movements, because it's just not how things work. They couldn't. You think Netflix, who's in a constant state of debt, is going to be able to buy any rights and then produce these movies? It's just not going to happen, people. It's just not going to happen. Nathan Holton, thoughts on Tom Hanks' performance in Man Called Otto? I would nominate him. He was fantastic. Have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I just haven't cared to be perfectly honest.
I'm going to watch it somewhere next week. I want to watch it because it is Papa Hanks, so I will always support him. Not read the book, not seen the original Man Called Uva, but I really want to watch this because it's a different role for him. It's not Tom Hanks playing likable, charming father of the people. He's playing this grumpy, curmudgeon old man, and I think that's interesting for him.
February 24th for Missing.
For over here or over there? The same.
Both.
Okay. February 24th.
23rd for Australia, 24th for the UK, because we get our movies on Thursdays.
The week after Ant-Man and the Wasp, so it's going to die at the box office.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I really love Searching.
Searching is really good. Nathan Holton, thoughts on Adam Driver Fantastic Four rumor, where he's rumored to be it's not front runner that I want to it's not front runner that I want to say. Give me a second, because there's a term. What do I want to say?
Guess what I could see next week, by the way, at a screening if I paid as a public screening, and you might want to fly over.
Which one?
You might want to fly over.
Which
Magic
one?
Mike's Last Dance.
Well, Warner Brothers, I will probably get it. If it's Warner Brothers and Paramount, I have no trouble getting
the distribution in Australia is purely Paramount, so I won't get it.
Well, I would say boycott Magic Mike's Last Dance because I was asked if I was available to be an extra in that film, and they rejected me. You should know what they took away from you. I will not be stripping in Magic Mike's Last Dance, and so
No, that's
that's
upsetting.
reason enough. That's reason enough to boycott this movie. It's a joke, by the way. So the word, for some reason, the word front runner wasn't sounding right, but it is the word. He's supposedly the front runner to play Mr. Fantastic and in the Fantastic Four. I think he'd make a better Doctor Doom. But that said, Adam Driver is a fantastic actor who can express multitudes with a single glance. Reed Richards is an immensely complicated character to play. You need him to be the kindest man in the room, but also the most dangerous man in the room all at once. And I think Adam Driver could very well bring that to life. Plus, it would probably show us also a more quirky, fun side to Adam Driver, which we've seen before. It's not like he hasn't given fun performances, like in The Dead Don't Die, which is not a good movie, but he's good in it.
He's good in it.
He was good in it. So I think, yeah, I would like to see it. He's my number one. Do I imagine him as Mr. Fantastic and go, yes, we hit the jackpot? Not really, but he's also not in the bottom. Like I would easily put him in like the top 5 suggestions I've heard.
Which, by the way, that 65 he has coming out looks amazing.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for
what
it.
a great premise. What a great idea.
Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs. All right, just show me where I sit.
Yeah, he goes from the future to the past through space travel with high-tech technology. Like, oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so much fun. And I think that's going to be the twist, and it's spoiled in the trailers, in the title, and everything, but I think it's still going to be...
I hate that. That would be like, what is it, Silent Hill 2 telling you what the twist for your main character is in the marketing, and I'm like, don't fucking do that, considering you play as this character rooting for him until literally the last 20 minutes, and you realize what the fuck he actually is, who he is, what actually happened, and you're like, I hate this prick. No joke. It'd be like that doing that. So why the fuck would they show that it's dinosaurs in the trailer? I don't get that. I don't understand why.
But I'm just gonna eat up the fighting dinosaurs, man. That's gonna be fun. More dinosaur movies. Since the Jurassic franchise ended up disappointing, give me a good one. I need to cleanse that palate.
Isn't it the young girl in 65 also the young girl from the Jurassic World movies? No,
she is. No, she is young Gamora.
Is she really?
She is young Gamora, yeah.
Oh. Well, they look very similar. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. They look very similar in the trailer for Jurassic World. Well, the movie Jurassic World, then seeing her in the trailer for 65. They look very similar, in my opinion. Yeah. So, I'm going to stop.
Nathan Holton, what trailers do you think will release soon? I don't know. It's one of those things where you have to give me the list of movies. Spring. Well, we just got one.
Next Thursday.
But it is coming out in March. Oh, is it confirmed?
A guy who I'm friends with, Critical Overlord, tweeted out that it'll be next Thursday, and he's very accurate with that stuff because he
is a horror creator. Yeah,
I think we'll get a Saw trailer very soon, but that's because this is a very different Saw movie and everything, and I think they need as much marketability for it. And the movie has wrapped, so. After a 2.5 month production, which is very, very short, but all Saw movies are shot in about 18, that period of time. So,
those are two. I would guess that we just got one, but it is coming out in early March, so it would make sense to get another Scream movie.
Exactly.
So we are getting one. So.
We might get a Silent Hill trailer soon because that was announced and it's been in production secretly for fucking ages now.
And when is that one coming out?
No official release date, but the movie is coming out this year. But if I look at Revelations and the other Silent Hill, and when Silent Hill 2 remake is meant to be coming out, I presume they're going to release it alongside the Silent Hill 2 remake, considering
that would make sense.
The Return to Silent Hill is an adaptation of the second game. It would make the most sense for them to release side by side, just like what they did with Resident Evil back in 2017 with RE7 and RE The Final Chapter. It's a good marketing thing. It would make the most sense, especially when Silent Hill is returning for the first time in like 10 to 12 years. Yeah. It's been absent and dormant for that long. I'm curious. to see what trailers drop soon. But I think a lot of horror stuff will drop soon, especially when we got a lot of horror stuff coming out between June and October. So
let's wait and see. Eric Thorpe reviews. If one of the first movies in the DCU is a Batman movie, how do you think it should differ from Matt Reeves' newly christened Batverse? And who do you think should play Batman? I think
George
first
Clooney.
and foremost, you need an older Batman. Not Ben Affleck older, but also not one in the early stages of his career like Robert Pattinson. One that has been Batman for a little bit and he's established in the city. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows he's a hero. So I think you need to differ in that sense. And I think you should and you have to, because as a part of the DCU, you need to make it more spectacular. So another thing to differ from Matt Reeves' Batman, start with a Clayface per se, because it's one of a more spectacular villain. Or start with a Solomon Grundy. Start with a Killer Croc. One of those characters that Matt Reeves just couldn't use or use them as they purely are in the comics.
He can use
I think so, but you have to tweak it.
Make him a dark, sinister, very cynical character. Make him big, behemoth, terrifying, but can still shift and everything. Like, I think Clayface in Matt Reeves' universe, if they made him big and cynical, I would
love it. He's one of my favorite villains. I would love to see him.
Do two villains in the one movie, but have them at butting heads with each other to take down the Batman of Mr. Freeze and Clayface, because I think they both match very well.
I think Matt Reeves is going to be using Mr. Freeze, so I want the DCU to not use him, at least as of now, because it would just be so good to see Mr. Freeze in that context. He's such a great villain. Who should play the Batman? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I don't think anyone's going to. Henry Cavill. You know what? I think he could play a Batman, a Bruce Wayne very well. But I'm going to go. I don't think this will be the most popular choice, but I also don't think anyone would hate it because it's just a fantastic actor. Jake Gyllenhaal would be a great Batman. The dude can bring the brutality, it can bring the rage, but it can also bring the suaveness and the sophistication to it.
From Nice Guys to Driver, or
that's Ryan Gosling.
Jake Gyllenhaal
also would make a great Batman. Also would make a great Batman. Don't get me wrong. My favorite working actor
I always
today.
get them too mixed up.
From Ambulance to Nightcrawler, that's a good range.
There you go.
Ambulance is so good. If you haven't seen Ambulance from last year, watch Ambulance. It's like
I love my drone shots.
Heat and Speed had a baby, and that baby snorts cocaine every day. And that's Ambulance.
And also does a lot of MD. And is always tripping on acid. I felt like I was tripping while watching that movie.
It is a fun drug, MD. It is a fun drug.
I am gonna have
not
to
from
get
experience.
Going,
I'm not talking from experience.
I thought you were, and I was gonna say, hey, not me too, not really.
No. I'm just saying. I've heard.
Yeah, I have too. I am gonna have to get going though, because I do have to start getting ready for work. Yes, it's like 1:30 a.m., but I'm starting at 5, and I've got like an hour drive to work.
I'll just stay here and finish off the questions, but thank you for joining me, as always.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. As a last-minute film, I'm always happy to join in and talk everything movies and geeky stuff with you. So thank you so much for having me once again.
Thank you, Patrick, for joining me. Have a good sleep with the little hours you have to sleep, and have a good day at work. And have a good rest of your weekend as well.
I'm going straight to work. I'm getting ready. I'm making my lunch and then going to work for 8 hours at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, man. I do not envy you, but I'm really glad you were able to be here.
Then I start at 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'm working till midnight, so I get like a good 28-hour break. And I'm like, yes, but no sleep schedule.
Sleep schedule thrown out the window.
Exactly. Thank you so much for having me once again. It's an absolute pleasure, as per usual.
Have a good
rest of your day, and thank you everyone for having me. Cheers.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Let's go with Eric Thorpe reviews again. Could we finally get a more comic booky type Joker in the DCEU? Don't get me wrong, Ledger is my absolute favorite, but since him, they're always trying to emulate his version. I find when I think they should aim for a more live action version that's closer to Mark Hamill. I would like to see it. When I say comic booky, I wouldn't like to see Jack Nicholson again because I'm not a fan of that interpretation either. Don't get me wrong; it's a very good performance, but just it's a very Tim Burton character and not enough of Joker for me in there, where I'm not afraid of that character. Uh, so yeah, I definitely agree with him, but Hamels is not necessarily the comic book Joker either. But I think both could really work in live action depending in that tonal balance where you strike it with the Batman world in the DCU. I think that could be interesting. Um, GWP, who's a performance that's getting a lot of awards buzz, but you didn't love? For me, Michelle Williams in The Fablemans. Maybe it was Spielberg's direction, but I thought she played it too over the top. Kind of made some moments feel schmaltzy to me. I definitely don't agree. I think she's wonderful. I think she is spectacular in that film. Definitely deserves the nomination. Should be sent to lead actress and not supporting because that's an insane choice. She's not going to win either, but you know, performance that's getting well. We just talked a little bit. Adam Sandler. It's not that I don't agree with Bill Nye because he is sensational. I have no qualms with him getting the nomination, but and it's not like him or Adam Sandler are getting across the board nominations. So yeah, those would be the two for me, just because they stand out, because those are just the ones we ran through. Um, Paul Mescal is getting a ton of awards love from not necessarily the prestigious awards bodies, but a ton of the critics associations, and I don't get it. Like it makes absolutely no sense to me. It's insane. So that would be the one. That would be the one for me, probably. Paul Mescal in After Sun. Dominic Scott, will you be watching the final season of The Flash when it debuts with the return of every character, including Oliver Queen as a Green Arrow? I never stopped watching The Flash, so I'm not going to stop with only one season left. I will certainly be watching the final season. Jico AP, did you guys hear about Black Cat probably not being in Spider-Man Force, and that's 4, not Spider-Man Force, Spider-Man 4, and that Sony might be giving her a movie? Sony being stupid once again. I don't mind that Black Cat is not in Spider-Man 4. I also love that they said the love interest will continue to be Michelle, MJ, Watson from the trilogy, which is excellent. You cannot leave where you left us off in No Way Home and then just drop that storyline. You got to continue because I want to see these two getting back together. They're destined for one another. But giving Black Cat a movie, it wasn't a good choice before. It's not going to be a good choice now, Sony. Yeah, Sony being stupid once again. They keep getting stupider. I'm so afraid for Kraven the Hunter. But at the same time, it's the one I want to like the most out of Venom, Venom 2, Morbius. Even though I don't think Kraven should have a movie, this is the one I'm like, I want to really like this movie. But I don't think I'm going to. Dominic Scott, have you ever come across on YouTube Project Justice League? In case you didn't know, it is a 40-minute long video focusing on what Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 or 3 were going to be. Never heard of it. But I did make a video about it when Zack Snyder's Justice League came out. So check that one out. Gico EP, you think Adam Sandler got a chance to be nominated for Hustle after the SAG Awards and this might make up for a Cut Gem snub? Shut up, Ryan and Patrick should have been nominated. No, he shouldn't. He's not that. I mean, it's not that he's not that good. He's really good in an otherwise atrocious film. But there were just 5 other performances that were much better than his. There were more than 5 performances that were much better than his. I certainly hope not. Like, I don't see that. I mean, I'll tell you right now, his performance in Hustle is not better than his performance in Uncut Gems. So I really don't see what the fuss is all about in his performance. In Hustle, all Adam Sandler shows you is that wow, he is actually a legitimate good actor. But we all knew that. So that performance didn't really impress me. It was more so the film overall that impressed me. Because it wasn't absolute garbage. Because Adam Sandler, Netflix doesn't usually make for the best combination. But this one was a really solid underdog story. Generic, familiar, conventional, but kind of effective at what it was doing. So yeah, he certainly doesn't even come close to deserve a nomination. Dominique Scott, what are some rare and very expensive action figures in your collection that are hard to find now? Lord Draken, right here. He's very hard to find. At the time when I started doing the Lightning collection, it was already tricky. I already got him for a higher price than he should have. I think I got the Gold Zeo Ranger as well at a high price. I got. Did I get the Green Ranger at a high price? Everything else I've gotten at it's not a low price, but it's a price they go for. I got the classic Loki and alligator Loki at a higher price than usual. What else? I mean, the helmets are just expensive for what they are. And I got a Dobby from My Hero Academia. It's somewhere up there. I got a Dobby from My Hero Academia at a higher price because it was already an older Funko the time I got it. But other than that, I don't have anything that I did not get like at the time it came out, so I got it at the regular price off the top of my head that I can see. So yeah, those are just a few off the top. And maybe I have more stuff back home in Portugal, but right here surrounding me, those are the ones. Let's just refresh. Oh no, we still have no. Yeah. Let's just refresh because otherwise this is going to be the final question from our good friend. We did get one more. So wait, Eric Thorpe reviews. This is not the final question. As of right now, there's still one more after this. Eric Thorpe reviews. So I only had this thought now as you guys were talking about him. But while I agree Austin Butler wouldn't fit Superman, how about Batman? I don't think so. I think he could play a more fun, as opposed to Pattinson, who I love, don't get me wrong. Bruce Wayne still have the darkness in him to be the Batman. I think he has the range, but I have not seen the physicality from him to believe that. You know what? I buy him as a Bruce Wayne, as a very, very young Bruce Wayne, but that's precisely what I don't want to see. I don't want to see another very young Bruce Wayne. And I know Robert Pattinson is like in his early to mid 30s, but he looks younger. He looks like he could be 29, 30, and I buy that age for him. He plays that age well. Austin Butler also plays around that age. In fact, how old is he? Because he's got to be younger than Pattinson. 91. So he turned in August, but 31. He's just now in his 30s. I think he's too close to Pattinson's version of Batman in terms of how young he is, how early in his career as Batman he would be. I can look at him and buy him as a Bruce Wayne, but you need to strike both sides of the character, because that's the thing about Batman. The interesting thing about him is that Batman is the identity and Bruce Wayne is the disguise, and Robert Pattinson nails that. I want to see someone who has grown into a recognizable hero and is now not late into his career, not in the early stages of his career. He's just an established Batman. He just strikes too close similarities to the Robert Pattinson version. But you know what? I think Austin Butler could be a very fun Joker. Nathan Madigan, this is the last question as of right now. And when I finish answering, I will be refreshing once more. But as of right now, this is the last question. With the release of the first trailer for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, thoughts on the director's debut film The Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld and Woody Harrelson. Great stream as always. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. We do really appreciate that. always, and we appreciate your support in asking questions and being here and joining us. I really like Edge of 17. It's such a fun movie that really captures the chaos, the messiness, the emotional rupturing of friendships and relationships, and how it's all seems out of control during that age. I did not care for this trailer. I thought it was messy in all the wrong ways. I did not understand what the story is about because, okay, you got this girl. It's clearly talking about her girlhood as she's growing from a child into a teenager. But then you have all these stories with Kathy Bates and with her mother, Rachel McAdams, who I adore. I adore Rachel McAdams. I did not get the point of them being so prevalent in, maybe they're not prevalent in the movie, but so prevalent in the trailer. But the director did a great job with Edge of 17. So this could be very well just a case of a messy trailer, of a bad trailer that did not get me more excited for the film than I already was before, because I don't know what this is. Clearly it is a book. I have never heard of the book, but I'll be there for this one, day one, to give you a review and all that. But as of right now, this did not get me very excited, to be honest. So, yeah. And let's check if there are more questions. And there are not. And so with that, we call it a day on the 39th episode of This Week in Geek. Thank you, everyone, for joining me and Patrick. Zach had to sit this one out. He got a little bit sick. He couldn't sleep last night. So we wish him all the best. I wish you all the best, and I wish you a great rest of your weekend. Go out and have fun. Go watch a movie. Gather some friends at home. Have some drinks. Have some pizza. Watch a movie at home. Have fun. Stay safe. And until next week, love each other and love the movies.